But yeah, I'll tell you guys the story later in the session.
Okay, hi. Can you guys hear me? Okay, hi. My name is Valerie. I'm graduating soon from JF Oberlin University next March, and I'm a Max scholar. So I went to an anime semangakko actually first for 2 years before transferring to my current university. And currently, I'm a UI design intern at Wet Inc., a startup IT company. Yeah, so besides design, I also love musical theater and I love singing. So if you guys have any similar hobbies, feel free to talk to me after this event too. Yoroshiku.
Hi guys, my name is Theo. I'm originally from Singapore. I'm currently fourth year student at Nagoya University. I've done an internship in two creative agencies. The first one is Ultra Super New, which Annie also did an internship there. And the second one is YNL Projects, the office I'm in right now. And yeah, I'm also the co-founder of Passion Project Japan, which is this like YouTube channel, which is like for a podcast, basically interviewing like inspiring entrepreneurs or people, doing cool stuff here in Japan. So please follow if you guys like that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kimmy and I'm from the Philippines. Had to check if my mic was on back there. I'm currently a design intern at a consulting firm here in Japan. Other than that, I'm also a junior at Waseda University's School of International Liberal Studies. And I guess a fun fact about myself is that I'm a morning person and I don't like coffee. And yes, I do think I'm so very unique for that. Yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Wow, thank you. We have so many people from very diverse background. Yeah, Mario who studied in business, and then Valerie who was doing animation, right, and now doing UX/UI. Which kind of, I think we want to know like how did it happen? Seems like what you've been studying from university is kind of like a mismatch between what you wanted to follow later on. So how about who's here still a student? Maybe Kimmy, do you want to go first? How did you what are you studying in university and what made you decide to pursue a creative route?
That's a really good question, and I get that a lot in interviews because front and center on my resume is that I major in mathematical sciences, and people are always like, how did you go from here to a design role? And that's because I was always really interested in design as a kid, but I never really thought it could turn out to be a career until I came to Japan and I met so many designers. Some of them are actually Filipino and they're based here. And I realized that I could do something like that. I had this small portfolio since high school, and that was really what I started applying with. And as it got a little bit bigger, I was able to apply to places like Geometry Ogilvy Japan, which is a really big agency, I think, outside of the country. And that was really amazing. So I think that kind of answers your question, really.
Interesting. Wow, mathematics and design. I think we need to get into that in a bit. But how about Mario? We went to the same university, and some of our participants here are also from APU, probably doing either social science or business. But tell us about your journey.
So yeah, actually, I changed my major 3 times before graduating. So I started joining APU as a management student because I was thinking to get a job in management when I start joining APU. But then on the second year and third year, I start to have interest in accounting and finance. So as you guys all know, APU students, we can change our major as much as we want as long as we have at least, I forgot how many, but we have the minimum requirement of the credits so that we can graduate with that major. So yeah, on the second year, I changed my major into accounting and finance, and then on the fourth year, I was telling myself that if I want to work in Japan only if I get a job in the creative field. So I was thinking, how can I do that? So one of the way to do that is to maybe change my major from accounting and finance to marketing, because a bit marketing is a bit related to creative, like for example advertising. So yeah, I changed my major to marketing, and luckily I have enough major in marketing so that I can graduate in bachelor in business administration, majoring in marketing. So yeah, from there, um, on the last year, on my last semester in APU, I already have enough credits, so I don't need to take any more classes in my last semester. So I did what all of my friends was doing, which is looking for internship. But it was quite tricky for me because what I want to do is completely different from what I'm studying. Um, so yeah, all of my friend has already uh, go to Tokyo, leaving me alone in Beppu. Uh, and yeah, I was looking for internship all by myself. And then the first thing I did was looking in LinkedIn, but it's not as uh, smooth as I thought it will be, because I now I already realize that LinkedIn is mostly for people who already has experience. And then uh, after that, I tried to make an email and reach out to companies, cold emailing them. I reached out to around 80 companies. I looked in Google. I searched for top creative agency in Tokyo, and then I found the list. I found their contact list, and then I sent them emails. Uh, Out of the 80 companies that I reached out, there's like 5 companies that uh, reached back to me. Uh, and 3 of them offer me an interview. I end up in uh, the company. I end up in Wild Tame. I interned for 6 months, and then after I graduated, I start working full time here up until now. Yeah.
Wow, 80 companies. That definitely must have not been easy. I can't imagine what you were going through. Uh, it's all interesting. So definitely we have those people who have like made a significant shift from what they were used to. They were studying versus what they wanted to do. But I'm kind of curious about Valerie, because even though you're doing UI UX now, your background is in graphic, which kind of similar, but we want to know like what made you do that transition.
Okay, so I came to Japan because I wanted to study animation. Um, but after doing well, so my school, it's called Semmongakko. In Japan, they have those 2-year schools where you didn't get a bachelor degree, but you can still do what you want to do for only 2 years. And so I didn't choose animation, and I chose illustration instead. So it's character design because I like drawing more rather than moving pictures around. So I did illustration for 2 years, and then I already planned on going to university, but I was a little bit confused on what I really wanted to do in Japan, because it might sound weird, but I didn't really watch animes, but I really like Disney or Marvel. So I thought that if I went to Japan, because I got a scholarship to Japan, like I would still be able to study the animation style that I would have liked, but I couldn't understand it at all for around 2 years. And I was like, oh no, like what should I do? So I was looking up because I studied in fully Japanese. So there was a website called Redesigner for Student, and it's kind of like LinkedIn for Japanese students who wants to pursue like a career in the creative industry. And I tried applying to that website, and most of the job openings are for UI UX. And coincidentally, I just took at that time I just started my online course, my web course with Google. So as you got most of you guys have probably have known that Google has a UX course. It's sort of like it's it's really affordable if not for free. So I tried taking that, and I felt like maybe this could be for me, and I tried applying some of the internships with my graphic design slash illustration portfolio. And then I got one of those, short term Japanese internships. And even though I might not learn as much as I have learned in my long term internships, but those short term internships that only lasted for like a week or so, kind of helped me to know more about UI UX. And from that, I kind of started to know that maybe this could be for me, especially that I get bored easily, and that UI UX, you keep solving problems continuously. So I felt that this might be the job for people with ADHD like I am. So yeah, basically that's how I ended up going to UI UX road. I did not, but not illustration. But actually, I felt that even in UI UX industry, like illustration skills, like illustration skills really came handy most of the time. So yeah, I didn't really regret my graphic design slash illustration background, but yeah, I felt like that could be my strength most of the times.
Oh, that's amazing. So happy that you you try as you go, and not just looking into like English resources, but you also looked at it from like Japanese resource, right? I shared in the chat the Redesigner for Student website, so everyone can take a look at it. Nice. Okay, I think teal is a difficult question, a difficult case, because we used to intern at the same advertising agency, but at different time. And I think, did you do the internship from Singapore? Because now you're in Japan, right, Theo? So how did that happen?
Yeah, so I guess my story is a little bit strange. So Ultra Super New has an office in Singapore, and so basically when I was in Singapore, I was at a Senmong Gaku Mutai kind of school. It's called Polytechnic, and I was studying media, mass communications there. And so I got an internship to work like 3 months in the Singapore office and then 3 months in the Tokyo office, which is a pretty good deal. So I took it, and I really enjoyed my time in Ultra Super New Japan, and it made me think that, oh, maybe I can come here to study or work in the future. Then Singaporean guys, we have to do like 2 years in the military, so I went off and did that. And then once I finished that, I decided to enroll into university here, and I enrolled into Nagoya University, and the program is Japan in Asia Cultural Studies. And once you hear that, you're probably thinking like, what kind of jobs can you get? And the question is, I have no idea, right? So I know I had to supplement my university major with like something really practical. And so that's when I kind of use my media skills and my media background to go and find jobs, or freelance work, or make connections with people in the industry. Yeah. So slowly kind of building up the portfolio. Yeah, I think maybe Annie will ask us later about like how we actually land our internship. So I wouldn't be share. But yeah. Anyway, my Japanese is like really bad as well. So if you guys are, have really bad Japanese like me, I think I can relate.
Yeah, I do have that question, but actually that question came from our participants themselves. So maybe I'll give the stage to them to ask later. But before we jump into the Q&A with our participants, oh, and if anyone has questions for the guest speaker, feel free to raise your hand. We will put you in queue or use the chat and type down your question. So if you're too shy to speak, then we can ask the question on your behalf. But just one question before that, because everyone's working in very different fields right now. So maybe can you let everyone know what exactly you did during your internship, the role that you did, and what was like a day-to-day work for you? Who should we pick? Maybe, how about Mario? You are a working professional now, but I think you did the internship just like a few years ago, right?
Okay, so yeah, I did my internship on 2022 May. Yeah, it was a while ago. So during my internship, actually, what I did during my internship and what I'm doing now is not really different. So yeah, during internship, I'm mostly doing video edits and also assisting in shoots because we often do shoots for corporates to do live stream. So yeah, I usually assist in the production of the shoot, and then I also do the edits, and yeah, it's pretty much that. But now I start to do more camera works. Yeah, I think that's the only difference. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Sounds like you have to be on set for the whole day, right? It must get really intense, especially if it's like a live streaming platform.
Mm.
Was there any difficult time, like a memorable time, during your internship days?
I see. It's actually mostly about how it's about my bad habit because I'm a very clumsy person, and during the shoot, there are so many things that can easily fall, or yeah, so there are many things that can easily fall, and yeah, oftentimes I hit tripods and change the camera uh, framing by accident. So that's one of the difficult thing that I'm currently even until now still trying to overcome. And I think another thing is also uh, like during my internship, I have a mindset of, oh, I need to wait until someone like gives me order on like what to do, like someone tells me what to do, which is a bad thing. But then my boss told me that, oh, you need to take more responsibility, not responsibility, you need to take more, yeah, responsibility, you need to take more action on your behalf, and it needs to take more initiative, and that changes how I do my work now. Yeah, I think that's some of the difficulties that I faced during my internship. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing. I once did a media production internship as well, and I had no idea what was video editing. And I had in the first month, I had to figure out what is B side, what is like different camera used for, how do you get this kind of close-up footage versus like a pan footage. There's a lot to learn, but I think maybe you learn on the go, and probably you didn't do it by yourself, right? You probably had a team with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Theo? Did you have like someone who were with you during the internship? Were there other interns? Were you by yourself? How was the experience for you?
So I started my internship 2022 August, and basically there was no internship position. So I happened to know my boss through my previous internship, and he kind of split off to start his own agency. So we've been keeping in contact through Instagram. And so I'm based in Nagoya. He's based in Tokyo. One day I was up in Tokyo for some competition, I think. And I messaged him on Instagram. I was like, hey, can I visit your office? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, okay, wait, this is a really good opportunity to like pitch myself, right? So I had like previous experience. So I just compiled all the stuff that I did like in a deck and kind of explain how I can help them if I was an intern there. And so I rock up, and then after some like pleasantries, I'm like, hey, are you looking for an intern? He was like, not really. And I was like, oh, but look at what I can do. And I just showed him the deck. And then by the end of it, he was like, maybe we are looking for an intern. So after that, I think it's about like a month or 2 months, somewhere between that, before I started like as an intern there. Yeah, and because there was no like official like intern role at that time, the stuff I did was basically everything that I'm also doing now, which is working on like very specific projects, assisting them with whatever they need. So one of our clients is Bombay Sapphire. So we are creating like shoots for them. So I have to plan the shoots. I help to do like the Pinterest, the mood boards and everything. I help to set up like the ad account for to run ads for on Meta ads and Google ads for some of the clients. Yeah, so those were like kind of my day to day, but it was everything changes every day because we are a very small agency. We're like 5 people at that time. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I am still processing that. Just the fact that you really put yourself out there. There's like this concept in economics, which is like supply and demand, and it's so interesting because there was no supply, but you putting yourself out there and putting your uniqueness, your value proposition, and in the end, you created a demand for them, which made them realize that, oh, actually, we didn't think that we need someone, but because you put yourself out there, maybe TO can actually bring something to the table. So that's really brave of you.
Yeah, I think one good like way to approach it is like you make it such that it's not a loss to them, right? So if they don't want it, it's completely fine. And because you're doing an internship, you can work for super cheap, like basically just purely for experience. So it's like a win-win. So you got a position that offer like a win-win for them as well. Yeah.
I really like that connotation. Okay. Oh, I think Eleanor has a question. Do you want to unmute yourself, Eleanor?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Annie. So my question is actually for everyone. What was the biggest sacrifice that you had to face in order to receiving this internship opportunity? Because I know like it must be really hard to work in the creative field, having to compete with other Japanese students who might be more fluent in Japanese, or maybe there's a language barrier, or maybe knowing the fact that other friends are being faster in achieving opportunities compared to you, because it can be quite competitive. So anyone can answer. Maybe we can start from Kimmy, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So I do kind of feel called out by this question because I'm not very good at Japanese. So like I feel like I'm probably like the lowest level here, but I did manage to find opportunities for myself. So I feel like I could answer this question for sure. I guess one thing that has been kind of hard is just having to constantly, I always feel like I have to work a little bit harder than everyone that already has kind of some level of fluency. Since I came to Japan, I've just been interning constantly at different companies. But I think my previous experience interning in the Philippines has kind of made up for the fact that I'm not very good at the language. And I think also having kind of interview skill is also very helpful. I feel like you asked a lot of questions and I'm not sure that I was able to answer all of them. Can you repeat some of the stuff that I wasn't able to answer maybe?
I think you answered my question very well. Yes.
Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
How about Valerie? Do you want to add anything to it?
So I think um, I think maybe I look like I had more experience like joining internships or like a really typical Japanese shukatsu, job hunting sessions. But I think even for me, it was really hard because most of the time there would be only like one or two gaikokujin, like foreigners, and most of them are really, really fluent in Japanese. And um, I, I don't even know my own Japanese level, but surely compared to a native Japanese, like some of them ask really hard questions, and even the Japanese, they really want to show off their language skills and their research skills. So even with a really fluent Japanese skills as a foreigner, it was still really difficult. So one thing that I felt that as a kotsu, as a tip from me, was that I would use the foreigner card and then I would make some content that none of the Japanese would think of. Like, like for example, one time in an intern, I was talking about how to make an app to um, an app for foreigners to be who cannot eat certain food so that I can make it more inclusive for the foreigners, for example. Or I would just bring like I'm from Indonesia, so I would just bring up anything that sounds traditional or Indonesian-ish so that no one could think of that and then they would be like, "Oh, sugoi, like that's really awesome because you're like 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 they would say like fareri shikanai, like it's because of Valerie then you can think of it, even though it might be like it's not something I really put too much like thought into. If I were in Indonesia, I bet I would just be like average, I think. But I would just use that card and use it to my advantage, and it works almost most of the time. So I guess, like, yeah, I guess you can maybe use that next time when you feel like you're not good enough, maybe in Japanese or something, because like obviously there's so many plus points that you have compared to the other Japanese. So yeah, I guess as long as you found that strength, like it would be easier to look at more positively compared to it as something negative or a sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I do feel like every single thing you're saying because of course we didn't get the education here. We did not born here. We did not grow up in this lifestyle. So it's really somewhat unfair to ask them to look at us similar to people who are more used to the way things work here. But I really like that you use what you had and you turn it into your advantage, and same with Kimmy. I think we should definitely steal that idea. Would give credit to Valerie, of course. Yeah. Speaking about being an international person in Japan, I kind of wanna ask if anyone has done an internship outside of Japan, and what did you think about what's the difference about working culture in Japan versus outside? I know Kimmy, you did one, right? Yeah, can you share?
Yeah, it's actually a really funny stories because I feel like in the Philippines and maybe in Southeast Asia, the working culture is a little bit more casual. I was definitely friends with my supervisor, and I can call ourselves like I can definitely call our relationship like a friendship because we were on Instagram texting each other about like the randomest things. I would reply to her stories about K-pop concerts and stuff like that. And one time, they were coming out of a meeting that they had with their supervisor, so like really high up there. And after that, it was a meeting with us interns, and they just started talking shit about their supervisor in front of us, and I was like, "Whoa, this is not something." Because I was already in Japan at the time, and I was like, "Wow, this is not something that I would have ever experienced if I had only worked in Japan." Honestly, it comes with its pros and cons, I think, but that was funny, I think.
So, how do you think that experience with the international internship experience help you when you come back and work on your internship journey in Japan?
I think it helps me stand out. I know that in Japan they also kind of value someone who's very Genki. I've heard from my friend that that's something very valuable that you show off in your interview. I think coming from that kind of culture and that kind of background has helped me kind of show off that I'm very positive and very perky, and that's something that they can really appreciate. Whereas I think other people kind of default to, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more introverted. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, Deborah, do you want to ask your questions?
So thank you. So from Valerie and Kimmy's answer earlier, it just got me thinking so do you guys really think that having JLPT N2 N1 is like the top priority in getting these creative internships, or we should just instead focus our energy on just applying and cold emailing like what Mario did, or pitching ourselves, instead of, because right now I'm thinking of studying for JLPT and I am dying, so I guess I'm finding reasons to not do it. But yeah, if you guys can answer this question, thank you.
And I actually answered this question. So actually, I had the exact same question last year, and I asked it during my internship, my short-term internship in Panasonic. It was an internship for all Japanese, and at that time I had N2, I had N1, but the score was really giri. It was just a few points above the passing point, because I thought I was lucky. It was multiple choices, so I guess I was a little bit lucky so I could pass. But I was really wondering if I should get a higher score. So I actually asked the HR of Panasonic, and then they actually said that they don't really look at your JLPT, because what they care about more is your ability to speak or write in Japanese. So they appreciate it way much more than just certificates, because some people maybe I don't really know what they I can't really say who, or I don't know, I guess for them, some people, they might have the certificates, but they can't really use them in daily life. So rather than that, they would rather have someone who can communicate with them, but maybe don't have the certificate. So I wouldn't say that it's a top priority, but I guess it would help you to pass the document screening. But after that, I think they care more about communicating, being able to communicate well with you.
For sure. I can also share a bit. I asked my Japanese friend about this during job hunting, and the comment that he gave me was that if you put JLPT N1 in your resume, then the people would expect you to have that level. As likewise, if you put yourself, you have N5, then people would have that expectation that you can only do N5. So I think quantifying your language proficiency is gonna either sell you short or sell you really high. And I think, just as Valerie said, instead focusing more on actually being able to communicate and express yourself and your ideas. And I think especially when Barry gave that exact example from her supervisor, right? I think it's about time hiring process in Japan have a new way of thinking. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we're slowly reaching the ending of this discussion. So anyone, if you have any question, Zaya, you have 5 questions. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Okay, thank you. And so my first question is that, do you guys have any recommended sources to find internship opportunities outside LinkedIn, some things we don't know? Should I just ask all the questions?
Maybe let's do 1 or 2 so that others can also ask. Yeah.
Okay, and also how can we distinguish ourselves and prepare for the internship from now on? Okay.
Okay, so maybe the first question, I think, how about Mario? I think you research like 80 companies. I'm pretty sure you have like a backlog of resources.
Honestly, I only looked at the company from Google search. So I literally write top creative agencies in Tokyo, and then I contact all of them by email. Uh, but I guess I got a tip from my senpai that he used uh, Wantedly to get internship, and yeah, it helped him a lot in getting an internship as a UI UX designer because he just started learning UI UX designer on his last semester as well. Yeah, and now he's working as a professional UI UX designer in Tokyo. So yeah, Wantedly and Google search.
Honestly, I vouch for that. I think SEO was born for a reason. I think if you input like the right keyword, Google will do its magic algorithm and it's gonna give you the answer. I think Wantedly is a good one as well, and maybe Indeed. There's a couple of out there. Actually, at CREA, we also have a creative data company database. So this is totally crowdsourced, and I will share the link in the chat. But we try to crowdsource all of the companies that are that have internship opportunities and new grad hiring. So definitely check it out. We made this for you, so we really hope that you can utilize this as a tool to get started. Okay. Okay, so how do we distinguish ourselves and prepare for the internship from now on? Maybe let's save this like as the final question, because I think it's a great way to wrap up. Okay, so let's move. How about Duan? Like, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Maybe
Maybe
I
there's
can
some.
yeah,
Oh,
I can answer the question. Yeah. So why here and not like? So I come from Singapore, and it's quite funny. I think that basically, I mean, just generally speaking, like fresh grad pay and everything is higher in Singapore than in Japan. But I came here because I wanted to experience how it's like to live in a different country, away from like your comfort zone. And that's also why I chose like a non-English majority speaking country. I'm sure you guys all have your reasons as well. Sometimes I do ask myself the same question though. Like, I feel like I'm playing live on like maximum difficulty, like on a different like language grind. But I think it all depends on what you want to achieve. And if you take a step back and think like, okay, do you really, really need to be in Japan? Is there any other place you want to be? Is there a specific reason why you're here? If you can ask yourself all these like kind of introspective questions, I think you can probably work out whether Japan is right for you in the long term or not. Yeah.
okay. Does anyone else want to share? How about Valerie?
Well, I think because I was already studying in Japan, so I was really curious too what would it feel like to work in Japan. So I didn't really think too much about it actually, but well, if I would be completely honest, the pri the buka, like how do you say the buka? Like the buka, the economy in Japan and Indonesia, like you get so much higher pay in Japan. So it's just as simple as that. I would feel like I would be able to get more money if I start working in Japan, and then maybe think later whether I want to go back or try another different countries. But I'm open to any possibilities. But I think if I were to move to another country, like I would choose an English speaking country because learning a new language was so tough. I think I'm not sure if I want to do it again.
？Okay. 。
Okay.
啊，that's a very good question. 啊，其实我觉得，如果你是想要留在这边，然后你想要学习，然后你想要有一个稳定的收入，我觉得你可以考虑去英国。因为英国的话，它的税率是比较低的，然后它的 For sure. And I think one unique thing about Japan is the shinsotsu culture. I think definitely it's very unique to Japan that you when you get into a company, especially if it's an established company, they actually train you from the beginning. So it would be great if you have the background or the skills in that industry, but if you don't and but you know what is your strength, if you can communicate your ideas across and you join the company, then that shinsotsu or new grad uh kenshu, new grad training, like you can definitely pick up on the job skills and so on. So I think definitely that's a very attractive point to start your career in Japan as well. Mm. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a questions that we got from the sign up that someone asked before. So that goes back to the question of how do you what is the most important preparation or portfolio? So basically, when you're in school, what can you do to help you land an internship or an opportunity in the creative industry? Kimmy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. I guess my advice would really just be try to join as many organizations as you can that lets you do what you want to do, but kind of like, you know, on easy mode, I guess, just so that, it's not the biggest deal in the world if you make a mistake. But also, like, other than that, I think it's really cool to meet other people who can, possibly introduce you to your potential bosses. I guess I would like to plug an organization here. It would be Japan's Venture Academy. I was a fellow there, and that's really how I got my start interning in Japan, because the founder's friend was looking for interns and he posted it to the Discord server, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for an internship. So yeah, I guess like really my advice would be try to join as many organizations, not just to get some work done, but also to meet cool people who will introduce you to opportunities.
Great. How about from Theo? Do you want to add anything on top of that?
So the question is like how to optimize your portfolio for internship.
What should you be doing while you're in school to find those opportunities in the creative industry?
Okay. So wait, you know what? I can share my screen for a really quick moment here. I can share with you. Like, so this is like I think every school has this random organization that's like for foreign students. So I joined that in my first year, and they didn't really have like a social media thing. So I just like did this, and this is just like I'm kind of talking on my ass. I kind of roughly know what to do, but this was just me like frantically googling and just like figuring stuff out as I did it, come up with all this like random stuff. And the reason was, of course, to propose to the organization. But I know that if I create this, I'm kind of showcasing like everything that I learned, and then I was able to apply it to a different IT company. And so these are all like kind of steps, right? And so you're just like trying to build that skill of like, you know, building stuff and showing your thoughts behind it. So even if the execution is a bit wonky because of our like language skills or general whatever, having these examples is like very clear examples to like your potential employers that like I like this person's thought process. I like how they think. I like what they are trying to do. They might not do it yet because they don't have the resources, especially since they are university student and international student. But you're kind of showing that you have the drive and you have the ability to critically like think. Yeah. So I would say just record everything, make sure you present it properly, and yeah.
Record everything, try many things. That definitely is gonna help you grow horizontally with different skills, and maybe along the way you also figure out your vertical skills, what you want to specialize in, and I think that's gonna package well as your unique selling point when you apply to different opportunities. Nice. So we only have 5 minutes, so unfortunately we need to wrap up for today. But we will definitely, if the speakers are okay, we will share you their contact. So if you want to follow up specifically in their industry with their experience, maybe they're from your university, definitely connect, and just like Kimmy said, talk to people, and you never know where that might lead you. So before we wrap up, maybe each of the speaker, do you have any advice or takeaway for our audience in their creative professional journey ahead? What was the order again? Maybe let's start from Mario and then Valerie, Kimmy, and then Theo.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Do you have any advice for our participants today to on their creative journey ahead?
I see. I think, yeah, if you want to land in a creative industry, I think what's important is making portfolio as much as you can, and make a platform a place where the companies where you're applying to can easily access all of your portfolio. Yeah, I think that's also one thing that helped me to land a creative internship despite I'm learning a different subject. Uh, yeah, I made a website. Before sending the email, I made a website that I fill with my portfolio, with my photo and video work, and then I send the email. I send my website, the link to my website in the email, so that the companies can easily check my work. So yeah, I think uh, maybe that's one of the tips that I'd recommend you guys to do.
Great, thank you, Valerie.
For me, I think from what I heard from my supervisor in my current intern company, most students use templates given by their schools or from the templates they found on the internet. So it was pretty. It kind of looked like everyone's portfolios had the same format, and I think like even though those kind of templates would help you a lot to start your portfolio, I think it's also really important to add touches of yourself, of your personality in your portfolio, so that your portfolio stands up a lot among the crowd. And yeah, just make sure that you put what you want the recruiters to see about you. So for example, if you want to look if you want them to have an impression that you are a creative person, then make sure that you have those unique features on your portfolio. And I think that's one of the most important thing that made me got my internship jobs kana.
Lovely, thank you, Kimmy.
I guess for me, what I really want to tell people is that you should never really underestimate the power of a quick Google search. When I was interning as a high school graduate, my boss told me, if you have a question, go to Google or YouTube before you come to me. And I think Mario can agree with this because he found 80 companies just by Googling. So definitely there are so many resources out there that you guys can utilize. Good luck, guys.
For sure. And I think even with the AI wave right now, you might want to include ChatGPT in the mix. Okay, and finally, Theo, do you want to share any last words?
The last words is just ask. I think you really never know what's going to happen. You just need to send a DM, send an email, send a message, and just ask respectfully, of course. But ask with a very clear intention of what you can bring to the table for them. And even if they might not have an opportunity for you, they might refer you to someone else, and the doors will open. So just keep asking, and good things will happen. Yeah, and also just a random plug, but I actually talk about this a lot in my not a lot, but I talk about this in one episode of my podcast, which is how to make Jumayan a month as a student in Japan, which you can check it out. It's 2 episodes ago. Yeah, so that's a random plug. Sorry.
No, I think it's a meaningful plug. And for sure, guest speakers, if you want to drop your LinkedIn, your YouTube channel, your Spotify podcast, feel free to do so. I think our participant will really, really appreciate it. Not just the connections we make today, but even after today, if you're open to talk to them. So unfortunately, that's it for our event today. So I will pass it to Deborah.
Yes, so once again, thank you so much to all of our speakers for that insightful sharing session. Like, we definitely learned a lot of new things. And let me just share a screen here. Wait. Wait a second. I think there's some technical difficulties on my end. But let me see. Okay. Yes. Sorry about that. So let's go back to our Canva slide. I hope everyone is seeing the slide. And so first of all, I just want to ask if how's everyone doing? I guess there's a lot of things that we can unpack here. And if you feel like you learn a lot of new things or anything, just please send us any reaction, while our speakers can also drop their LinkedIn, their podcasts, their anything that they want to plug. So yeah, if anyone wants to share how they feel, you can do that. And moving on, actually, we will have another event coming up on March, at the end of March, and we will be touching upon UI UX more in depth into like what is it exactly, and how do you really get into that career, and like what are the skills that you need to learn. And we will have Amori Takagi as our speaker, and I will be your MC for the next event. And so if you guys are interested, you want to keep up with all of those updates, please join our Discord, and I will give you time to all of the participants to scan the QR code. And so in our Discord, you can get information on our event. You can get that crowdsource what was that? The things that you want to learn about today's event too. We will also upload a video, and all of those you can find it in our Discord. And also you can connect with so many people in the community. So that's a good place to hang out. So yeah. And so before we end, if you enjoyed the event, we would like to ask you to support CREA. So, of course, we're doing this voluntarily, and to continue doing this, to continue provide quality event and workshop and also resources for everyone, we would like to ask that you can help us crowdfund our campaign by donating through PayPay or Ko-fi, so that we can continue what we do here and provide better things in the future. So if anyone, I think we can share this in the chat later, but if anyone also want to just scan this right now, I'll give you maybe like 10 seconds to scan the QR code. Your help means a lot to us, so it will be great. And last but not least, we are going to take a picture together. So if anybody that's comfortable with turning on the camera, you can do so, and we'll just take a picture together to like, yeah. If it's uncomfortable, it's okay. We're not forcing you, but if you want, just turn it on and we can have a picture together. Yeah, so let's just wait a little bit. Let's see if anyone. Thank you. Hey guys. Okay, yes. Thank you, Annie, for sharing that QR code to that link. So is everyone? Yeah, I think it's everyone. Okay, wait, I think my internet is lagging. So, okay, yeah. So we will take a screenshot picture together and we'll post it on the Discord and you guys can look into it later, okay? So I will go through the first slide. So everybody cheese. And yeah, I will tell you on the second slide. Yes, so 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay. Oh wait, I can just post it on the chat, right? Yes. Wait, don't turn off your camera yet, people. We have second slide to go through. Yeah. Okay, and everyone on the same slide. Can we have another big smile, everybody? So 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay, I think I got it. I got both pictures and you guys can check it out on our chat. Yay. So that's it for today's event, everyone. We are really glad to have you here, and we are once again very thankful to all the speakers for sharing their experience with us. And yeah, we hope to see you again next event, and of course, our Discord and everything. Go join us, and yeah, see you next time, people. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us.
Have a
Thank you for
nice
hosting.
evening.
Thank you,
Sekarang.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.